Today we'd like to show you our presentation on volunteer tourism by Brandon Uten, Alan Jones, James Troxler, and Chris Land.
Volunteer tourism is when people travel like a vacation, but instead of participating in average tourism, they do volunteer work. An example of this would be taking a work vacation to Africa, and instead of spending time and resources on safaris and other tourism activities, the individual would volunteer at an orphanage for a week or help kids without parents.
Volunteer tourism is promoted to tourists by organizations that seek to enrich the lives of host countries and the volunteers. Volunteering has a positive impact on the participants by making them feel like they have made a difference. Host communities benefit by receiving the time and labor of volunteers to make improvements within their community. Word of mouth is a great way for the idea to spread to new participants. It also allows host countries to gain more confidence in the idea of volunteers helping them in a time of need.
Voluntourism is estimated to grow by 20 million by 2020. Growth is expected to increase substantially because people like to help others and at the same time feel better about themselves. In the world we live, people are much more connected to the global problems than they once were. These problems include environmental, social, and economic problems. And the environmental problems are much more noticeable today, including global warming, deforestation, among many others. And with our knowledge of foreign peoples and problems, we become much more empathetic and want to help. And volunteerism also just gives us the chance to travel while having a positive impact on other communities.
Simone Faulkner at the Sydney University of Technology is studying a social phenomenon that shows how the biggest market for these people going on these volunteer experiences abroad are younger people. And a big reason for this is because they're at a time in their lives where they're not tied up with things like work. They have, no real, family responsibilities to take care of that are too pressing, and they have that drive to go out and experience what the world has to offer and try and do some good.
There are many positive and negative impacts caused by voluntourism. Sometimes volunteer tourists sign up for trips because they care more about going to a cool location as opposed to going somewhere with a cause aligning to their own passions. Often when this is the case, those people are poorly trained in the field and it can cause more harm than help, or just waste a decent amount of money. Additionally, there can be endless fees associated with volunteer tourism. The most efficient way to find the best trip tailored to your ideals is to speak with people who have volunteered with that organization in the past. They are typically helpful and eager to share their good or bad experiences. On a positive note, volunteer tourism can be extremely beneficial when experts seek destinations that need their help the most.
The first and most well-known voluntourism organization was started by former President John F. Kennedy. Known as the Peace Corps, its mission was to send the best and brightest American citizens out to tackle the biggest problems in foreign countries around the world. Thousands of other voluntourism groups across the globe followed his lead and still plan beneficial trips for individuals and groups to this day. There are also some for-profit voluntourism companies, including G Adventures and STA Travel.
Some of the most common programs in this area of tourism include things like an internship abroad with a certain aspect of volunteer work, long-term volunteering, service learning volunteering, career or degree-based placements. And one of the big trends that a lot of companies are sort of looking to break away from is the idea of vacation volunteering, where people go and it's works out for them, and it's low cost and low budget, and they can experience and do some traveling, and it's really not the most practical way to get things done where people are going to get the most help. So a lot of companies are breaking away from that. And another problem is that a lot of young people have the drive and want to do it, but they don't know how to get involved.